At least 10 million Americans each winter, and in fact, it starts in the early fall, suffer from something called seasonal affective disorder. And that's just people who are diagnosed with it. There are probably millions more people who suffer the symptoms of SAD, but actually aren't diagnosed. And typically, the only support that we're told to help us feel better and maybe overcome some of the symptoms of SAD would be to get something called a bright light box. So I want to talk a little bit about my story with this because I live in Michigan and it's gray and dark for a majority of the winter, and also starting in the fall all the way through the early spring. And I used to suffer at least the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. So kind of persistently a low mood. I like had to pump myself up. I was teaching fitness. I mean, I've taught fitness classes for 20, 25 years almost. And I used to have to really pump myself up to teach them. I just wouldn't, I'd be really disinterested in going out or hanging out with people. So really low energy, low libido, low self-esteem, like all of these symptoms that would come on in the winter months. And I thought to myself, winter is just awful. And I can't wait until I'm old enough or have enough money to move out of here and to get away from this horrible, awful winter so I don't have to feel these symptoms anymore come October. Well, I don't feel them anymore. And guess what? I still live in Michigan. I just changed how I engaged with light during the fall and winter months. And my seasonal affective disorder is effectively cured. And so let's talk a little bit about this, right? What I used to do was not pay any attention to going outside. On gray days in the fall, I just thought to myself, ugh, or especially gray days in winter when it's cold out, I thought to myself, ugh, who wants to go outside in this? And I'm better off just staying inside watching TV or staying inside reading a book. So I would have very little time outside. If I was working on those days, again, I would have no motivation to go outside. And I worked in two kind of different light environments in my wellness facility. One of them was fluorescent lighting, so like the fluorescent tube lights in one area, and then another part was LED lights. And so I thought to myself, oh, it's brighter in here. I want to be in here anyways. I should just stay inside so I can avoid the cold and the gray and the doldrums of winter. And so I never went outside. And if I did, it was just simply to walk to my car and not pay any attention really to the weather around me, to the light environment around me. And so what I did, especially one year, this was while I was still struggling with my health. I thought to myself, well, I've heard about these light boxes, so let me get one of these light boxes. And I searched the internet, and at the time, I came up with what I thought was, for me, a cost-effective yet really good quality version of this light box. And it was about this big, right? So it's about this big, and I was supposed to put it on my desk. Oh, let's say a foot and a half to 2 feet away, and have it shine first thing in the morning. So I would shine it in my eyes when I got to the office and I was done teaching my first fitness classes, the early morning fitness classes. I would go in and I would shine this bright light box to help me cure my seasonal affective disorder. And let me tell you, that light box is insanely bright. Yes, it's over 10,000 lux, and that's a measurement of brightness. And I want to talk to you about that in a little bit. But what I noticed when that light box was shining in my eyes is I actually started to get a massive aversion to it. So yes, technically I might have felt a little more wired or a little more energetic because that bright, shocking light in my eyes for 20 minutes most mornings. But I didn't feel great. I didn't feel like I was thriving. It didn't seem to help a lot of my other symptoms, just like low motivation, low sex drive, things like that. And so I knew just intuitively that that wasn't helping me. And so I stopped using it. And then I kind of went about my merry little way. And then I started to think to myself, oh my gosh, I've been learning about light, and I used the summer light to help to heal my body. What about winter light? Why can't I go outside in the winter? And I actually started engaging in a practice that saved me. I started taking a morning walk from my wellness facility to the coffee shop. Yes, at the time I was still drinking two, if not three, caramel lattes every morning. Crazy, right? But I was walking there. And what I started to notice that as I was walking to the coffee shop and then back, it was about a 20-minute walk there, 20-minute walk back. So I'd go to work for a chunk under garbage artificial light, not ideal. But then I would have this hour-long break, walk to the coffee shop and back, and then come back and get some desk work done. And it was during that hour-long break that I was shining that bright light into my eyes. But when I made the switch, this was around, let's say, 8:30 in the morning, to walking outside in natural light, no matter if it was cloudy, sunny, it could be snowing outside. I just learned how to bundle up because at the time I couldn't tolerate the cold. And sure enough, little by little, my seasonal affective disorder went away. And not only that, it wasn't just like, oh, I've got more energy. It was like, wait, I actually feel good. And my brain feels clear. Like I've literally got a lot of focus. So I would sit back down at the desk and I would really focus for a good 20 minutes and get tons of work done. I stopped drinking all that coffee. And in fact, what I first stopped doing was needing sugar in my coffee. Then I stopped needing even milk in my coffee. Then I stopped needing caffeine in my coffee, right? So little by little over the course of the winter, I was able to transition away from these supposedly energy producing drinks or energy giving drinks with the sugar and the caffeine. And so also I noticed other benefits. My hormones started to come back online. So I actually started to notice I would ovulate. And I could tell that by changes in my libido and changes in my vaginal fluid. I was able to fall asleep better. I was practicing circadian practices kind of partway with blue blockers at night. And at that time when I was practicing, we didn't really have access to a ton of blue blockers. Nowadays, we've got amazing companies who really understand how to block artificial light at night. I was doing my best with a pair of kind of clearish to lightish yellow ones, lighter yellow than these that claimed to be effective blue blockers. But even in spite of doing all those other things that were kind of wrong when it comes to protecting my circadian rhythm, I still got rid of my seasonal affective disorder. There came a stretch of time where I felt I was busier at work during the winter, that particular winter. And so I thought to myself, I'm not going to take the time to walk to the coffee shop and back. This is like a 2-week stretch. And so I said, instead, I'm going to just use this light box. That light box started to make me nauseous. And what I started to realize that light box was doing was, yes, the brightness of that light, that 10,000 bright, intense lux, was stimulating my cortisol, but it was stimulating my cortisol aggressively and not in the unique circadian fashion we're designed to make our morning cortisol surge when we go outside and get nature's light signals. Because in nature, we don't, yes, we have 10,000 lux, and frankly, we have more lux when we go outside on a cloudy day in nature than we'll get from that light box. But what's beautiful about that lux from nature is that it's balanced in its light spectrum. So it's going to have red, infrared, it's going to have the blue, which we need to stimulate our brains in the morning. But that light box, all it had was an aggressive bright blue spike. It was an aggressive LED light box. And to me, my body really started to understand the difference between going outside and getting the natural morning light signals versus turning on that light box first thing in the morning. And so this is part of what I get to teach at the Prep for Winter Challenge. I'll give you the nuances to that. I'm going to package just the Prep for Winter Challenge. This is my 3rd annual challenge. I really like to teach people how to use all of winter, all the gifts we get in winter in order to heal our bodies, from the light signals to the temperature changes, to the added darkness, to the fact that we would be heating our homes using campfire. And now, because we've switched it and our modern lighting doesn't have the same wavelengths as campfire, what can we do instead? And so much more, so that you can learn how to thrive in the winter. You don't have to struggle winter after winter. That was me struggling and trying to figure it out, struggling and trying to figure out. And now I finally feel like I can thrive in the winter. I don't get cold. I have high energy, yet I honor my body's signals for restoration. I honor the darkness and allow my body more sleep when it's possible. And so I'm excited to teach that to you as well. So if you're interested in joining, my 3rd annual Prep for Winter Challenge starts October 2nd. And here's the cool thing. So many aligned companies have partnered with us because they believe in this vision as well, about helping people learn how to feel amazing all winter long. And so these companies have so graciously donated to a prize package. And we've got 3 individual prize packages that are worth over $1,700 a piece. These are companies who, these products that they've donated really align with things that will support you all winter long. So I'm super excited and grateful and humbled that these companies are so supportive of this Prep for Winter Challenge as well. And I really look forward to seeing you there. Remember, the last day of the Prep for Winter Challenge is a live Q&A with me. It's such a fun time where I get to engage with you all to answer your questions, to make sure that these little videos that are very, very informative and practical over 19 days truly sink in and are supportive and are specific to what your needs are. So that's what the purpose of the Q&A. So again, Prep for Winter Challenge. Thousands of people have joined this challenge in the past 2 years and have loved it. And I'm so excited to have you join this year.